post-launch downloadable content. It's great, and years ago if you told me Nintendo's Super Smash Bros. Series would ever get DLC characters after launch, I wouldn't have believed you, but here we are now. Let me take you back to 2014. Good times. Nintendo was hitting a new low because of the Wii U, and we got this stinker of a game. It was awesome. Jokes aside, Smash for 3DS came out in September, and people quickly learned that for the second game in a row, Mewtwo didn't make the cut, which was a quality he then only shared with Pichu, Yunlink, and Roy, all three of which were clones of other characters that were in Brawl and Smash 4, so people didn't really care that much about them not being in the game, at least compared to Mewtwo, who was a wholly unique fighter. And then shortly after Smash for 3DS launched, but before Smash Wii U, Nintendo hosted a special online presentation called the Super Smash Bros. For Wii U 50 Fact Extravaganza, mostly detailing stuff that can only be found in the Wii U version, such as 8-player Smash, a bad classic mode, Smash Tour. It was great. And best of all, at the tail end of this presentation came a huge announcement that was super out of left field. If you weren't there for this, you don't understand the significance of this announcement. This was 2014 Nintendo, who didn't really do DLC at all yet. I mean, this was even before they announced any paid DLC from Mario Kart 8. After this announcement, Sakurai said in an interview to not expect any more DLC for Smash after Mewtwo, saying that he doesn't want people thinking they're just putting in content post-launch that should have been in the game from the start. A highly respectable mindset, honestly. Pretty funny too if you consider what Nintendo is like now, but I digress. Point is, this was Nintendo before doing DLC was really something they often did, or at all for that matter. So when over 5 months later it was suddenly announced that Lucas would also be returning as a DLC fighter, it was a massive deal, especially since directly after that they also announced the Fighters Ballot. This was an online page where you could request fighters to be added to the game, and through this, Bayonetta quote-unquote won the poll, which nobody actually believed, and she was then added as the last DLC fighter. Later, however, it was revealed that the results of this poll massively impacted the characters that were to be added in the next game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, such as Ridley, King K. Rool, Banjo, and Sora, the latter two of which were also later confirmed to actually have placed second and first respectively in the entire poll. Anyways, at launch, Smash Ultimate broke the tradition of each successive game adding more newcomers than the last, only adding 11 new characters compared to Smash 4's 21, and that's counting Echo Fighters, otherwise it's only a measly 6 new characters. However, very shortly before the game even came out, they announced that they would be doing post-launch DLC. Alongside revealing Piranha Plant as a free early purchase bonus for the game, plans to make at least 5 more characters were revealed, which later became 11 or 12 characters, meaning that eventually Smash Ultimate did get more newcomers than Smash 4, continuing the tradition. Each of these fighter packs would come with a new fighter obviously, a new stage, new music tracks, and new spirits, and they were all great, I think. Okay, so obviously I'm happy about all the DLC this game got, especially considering that it launched with at least a few decades worth of content in it already, but of course I'm not gonna be just as happy about the contents in each pack. I'm gonna prefer one over the other. So I thought it would be fun to go through all of the DLC packs one by one and rate them based on how much I like them, and also just which ones I think offer the best new content, so that at the end I can rank them all in order from best to worst. This is obviously going to be my opinion, but I'll try to be at least a little bit objective in my ranking of the 11 DLC fighter packs Smash Ultimate got in its lifetime. But before we get into any of that, and I think you know where this is going, I would like to take a quick moment to talk about today's sponsor, Skillshare. So I've been editing my own videos for over 7 years now using Adobe Premiere Pro, which means I get asked a lot how I learned to use it. Well, I am entirely self-taught, which as you can imagine was pretty hard since I had to learn everything on my own, which I don't really recommend with a program this confusing. Luckily, that's where this video's sponsor, Skillshare, can help a lot. With nearly an infinite amount of classes available on Skillshare, you can learn from professionals all about, well, anything really. At this point, I consider myself an expert at using Premiere Pro, so I looked it up with the search bar and watched Advanced Video Editing with Adobe Premiere Pro by Jordi van de Put, and being the smug fella I am, I expected to learn nothing because again, I consider myself an expert. To my surprise, I actually learned a lot of stuff I never knew about, like that you can pre-render parts of your timeline to cut down on lag for when you use a lot of effects at once, which would have saved me so much time and headache in these past 7 years of editing. So if someone with my level of experience can learn stuff with Skillshare, imagine how much someone that's just starting out could learn. You can even filter your search by beginner to just learn the basics. This beginner class by Helly's Harvest teaches you all about the Premiere Pro layout, for example, which I can tell you was one of the hardest things to wrap my head around at first. It's pretty overwhelming. I honestly can't recommend Skillshare enough, and you can try it for free if you're quick enough, because the first 1,000 people to use the special link in this video's description, or the code PJiggles0522 at checkout, will get a 1-month free trial, perfect for if you just want to check out what Skillshare has to offer. So go get your learning on today. Thanks again to Skillshare for supporting my channel, and now let's just get on with the video. Okay, so with that huge intro out of the way, time to finally rate all of the DLC fighter packs. In this video, we'll go over each one included in the first Fighter's Pass, which means we'll of course be starting with... hold on. There we go. The first DLC character to be released, Piranha Plant, isn't actually part of a fighter's pack, which means that it doesn't come with a stage or music, and it also only comes with one spirit, being its fighter spirit, which doesn't do anything. But I might as well still talk about them. It's not like it's gonna take long anyways, since I just have to go over one fighter and no stage or music. So what do I think of Piranha Plant? Hilarious. My favorite part about this character is that he's really bad. I mean, it's a joke character, so it has to be bad. If someone picks this character against you, your pride is on the line, not only because he sucks, but also because it's a damn plant. It's got some fun moves though. For some reason I really like the neutral air, and the up special is awesome because you can do stuff like this. Its other specials are cool too. When Plant first released, people were losing their minds over how much damage side special can do, and down special is really creative and unique, albeit a bit awkward to use, which I feel like is intentional since it's just a potted plant tipping over. Also, one last thing, in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the Mushroomy Kingdom stage, which is a recreation of the very first stage in the first Super Mario Bros. Game, had an alternate form where it was the second stage instead, but this form is absent from Smash 3DS and Ultimate. I remember thinking when Ultimate came out and seeing that that form was once again not there, that they should add it back when Piranha Plant comes out, as a compromise for it not coming with a stage. I mean, it's literally the first appearance of Piranha Plant ever, so it couldn't have been more perfect. Maybe throw in one new remix of the Underground theme and blammo, that'd be a cool pseudo fighter pack. So it's a bit of a shame that never happened. Anyways, I'm not gonna give Piranha Plant a score because it's not part of a fighter's pack, so I'm just gonna say I like this edition. Very funny, sometimes fun to play, it's got good alts, this one is awesome, thumbs up, good edition. And it holds a special place in my heart because it's the last character montage I ever made on YouTube. Anyways, moving on to the actual first fighter pack, Joker. This character is pretty special because before his reveal, it was already known that Nintendo chose the DLC characters to be added to this game, not Sakurai. So a lot of people were expecting boring Nintendo reps to promote new Switch games, like a Gen 8 Pokemon, maybe a Labo character, or an ARMS character. So when it was revealed that one day before the game came out, at the Game Awards 2018, that the first DLC character would be Joker from Persona 5, a game that wasn't even on Switch at the time and still isn't for some reason, it was a really big deal because it kinda set the standard to throw all of our expectations out the window for the rest of the DLC. Anyways, fast forward to 4.5 months later, Jesus, Joker comes out, he crashes the eShop servers, some people on Twitter were complaining that all his moves just come from other characters, and all was right with the world. Playing the actual character, he's okay. I kinda prefer slower characters in Smash. Stuff like Sheik, Fox, Joker aren't really my thing cause I'm bad. But everything else about him, oh man, what an addition! They knocked it out of the park right away with Joker. So this segment of this video is gonna take a while. He has so many cool details. Like how summoning Arsene can make this face close-up from Persona 5 show up and it removes the mask from the battle UI, his stage changing color with the music which carries over into his victory screen, the victory screen in general, how it's a one-to-one recreation from the ones in Persona 5 with the lines and all, and they even change color in free-for-alls with your player color. It's all fantastic. His moveset is fine, but what really sells it for me are the visual effects. Normally, character swinging just shows these generic attack lines, which is fine, but with Joker, it's all one solid color and stylized after Persona's 5 whole red theme. I especially love forward tilt with how the lines go back way further than they have to. But his battle mechanic, building up to summon Arsene, cool concept, not a fan of the execution. My main problem with it is that I think Joker is too competent without Arsene. So instead of being a character where you have to work when you're in your weak state, so you can reap the rewards when you're in your powered up state, and you have to play around set differing states, it's a character where you're just always good, but when Arsene comes out, you're just more good. In layman's terms, I wanted a character that kept switching between somewhat weak and very strong, but instead I got a character that just goes from being strong to stronger. I also don't like that Arsene is tied to a timer, because optimally, you just run away and camp when Arsene comes out, which isn't very fun. Yeah, hitting him makes Arsene leave faster, but why risk that when you can just run? I think it would have been better if he goes away after landing a certain number of hits with him. One thing I really do like about his moveset though is the final smash. I usually don't care too much for them because I don't like playing with them on, but this is by far my favorite final smash in the game. It just looks incredibly accurate to the source material, and the fact that this can also turn into the victory screen is fantastic. Moving on from the character, let's talk about the stage, Mementos. It's very true to its original, because just like in that game, I do not like it. First off, its design. Why is the background just a map of the Mementos area from Persona 5? That's kinda lazy and stupid. Secondly, this doesn't even really look like Mementos, which, okay, never mind, that's a good thing actually. I mean, there are trains and the floor is vaguely train station themed, but Mementos has train tracks going everywhere like over the walls, and it has bloody veins all over the place, which actually do show up in one of Joker's victory themes, but not the stage. Other than that, the stage is more themed around the game's menus, which honestly is understandable. I mean, Persona 5 has some of the best menus I've ever seen in a game, so I get it, but it does look kinda mismatched attached to this actually Mementos looking floor. One thing I will absolutely credit this stage for though is that again, it changes color to be based on Persona 3 or 4 when a track from one of those games is playing, which is amazing. Persona 4 has a really colorful and fun theme, and Persona 3 has some of my favorite aesthetics ever with the green dark hour clock against the blue. So yeah, this is really doing it for me. Actually playing on the stage though, I hate the normal form, but I love the hazardless form. I've never liked stage hazards, especially ones that can hurt you, so the trains that can hit you, not a fan, and the walls and ceiling that show up, also not a fan. And one thing I will absolutely discredit the stage for is... it is so damn annoying how every few seconds you hear that damn Morgana buzz meow. It legitimately keeps me from picking the stage sometimes, and I'm not kidding. Moving on to the music, damn! This is just okay. So one thing you'll notice when I'm judging these fighter packs is that I'm not all too interested in the song additions that aren't new remixes for Smash. Like, it's not impressive at all to put a song that already exists in the game. Making something new takes time and can really make fans happy, especially if they're longtime fans of the source material. New music remixes coming with a character sometimes honestly excite me more than the actual characters themselves, since you can enjoy that content even when not playing Smash. Like, that's potentially something new to listen to when you're out shopping or something, you know? I'm a little miffed that there's no remix of a song from Persona 3, like I would have killed for a Burn My Dread or When the Moon's Reaching Out Stars remix, but I'm not gonna complain about these 3 remixes because they're all fantastic. What I will complain about though is the non-remix tracks they added, because why only 8? Persona music is really popular, even back in 2019 when Joker released, and they only do 8 tracks when they're covering 3 games, technically 4. Some additions make sense, like the main battle themes of Persona 3, 4, 4 Golden, and 5, but then you have stuff like Our Beginning. Why is this in the game? Spoilers ahead for Persona 3, 4, and 5, go to this timestamp if you want to skip it, there's your warning, 3, 2, 1. So they put in the final boss song of Persona 3, which is great, but then they don't put in the Persona 5 final boss theme, but instead the song that plays after the final boss. That's essentially just a really short cutscene song, and at that it doesn't even really fit that well in Smash. And they don't put in the Persona 4 final boss theme at all? Like, have you heard that song? It's amazing. And really, only 2 Persona 3 songs with no new remixes? Come on, man. Also, the Persona 5 main theme is good and all. I get that they put it in because it's iconic, but it really doesn't fit Smash at all. Like, Xenoblade 1's main theme is also pretty iconic, but would you want to fight on this? I don't think so. Let's just wrap this up. What do I think of the very first complete fighters pack in Smash Ultimate? Well, this pack is a really weird case for me. On an actual playing the game standpoint, I'm not a fan honestly, but I don't really play Smash nowadays anymore anyways. I love this game, but when it's your job, the last thing I want to do after a hard day of work making Smash Bros videos is play Smash Bros. But this is my job, and as a content creator, wow do I love this pack. Just the level of care in it is insane. So much so that I made a video talking about some cool details in this game, most of which were related to this DLC pack, just because of how much there was to talk about. That video then popped off, I turned it into a series, which then allowed me to do YouTube full time, so thank you Joker. I'm not kidding when I say this DLC changed my life. So ranking this pack is weird for me, like I said, but I'm gonna settle on a nice 6 out of 10. If I actually liked playing as him or the music selection was a bit better, I would have easily given him a 10 out of 10, but a 6 isn't bad. That's still a good score in my eyes, and if I didn't like him on a content creator level, it would have been a whole lot lower. So anyways, that took a very long time. I promise they won't all be that dragged out. Moving on to the next DLC pack. What's that? I forgot about something? Oh yeah, spirits. Each pack comes with new spirits too. I'm gonna be real, I do not care for spirits at all. Like, they could have just not included spirits with a DLC pack and I would not even lift an eyebrow. And even if one came with 1,000 new spirits, it wouldn't affect my score of the pack at all. So I'm just gonna not take them into consideration. Because really, they're just PNGs and some of them let you do a CPU battle with a small theme that can make you go, neat stuff, and then you move on with your day. Anyways, let's actually just move on to the next pack. Starting of course with the character, Hero. Nice name, dude. Playing as Hero. I like this guy. Spoilers for the rest of this list, but Hero is by far my favorite DLC character to actually play as, because he is oh so stupid. His main mechanic is that he's super random, in a fighting game. That's fun. All his smash attacks have a 1 in 8 chance of being a critical hit, making it really strong, which is funny. But the main star of the show is his down special, Command Selection, by far the most fun move in the entire game. This gives you a list of 4 different spells you can choose from, and they range from something like shooting a little fire thingy to f***ing exploding. It's awesome. He has a lot of spells at his disposal too, like temporary buffs to his attack or speed, an attack that can potentially one-shot anyone it hits if you're lucky enough, a small heal that you can only get twice per stock. Most of these spells are pretty strong, however you get some stinkers like Metal Slash and Kaklang too. And to keep him from being way too broken, he also has an MP meter that he not only uses for his command selection spells, but also his other special moves, each one of which have 3 levels of charge. I like the gameplay aspect a lot of having to manage your resources for your move. It makes you think which level of up special to use when you're trying to recover to the stage, and it also makes you think if it's smart or not to charge neutral special all the way up, since the full power one costs 36 MP, and once you've charged it, you can't opt out of it and use the weaker ones instead. Also, the fact that you recover MP way quicker when you land hits, and that you don't recover MP at all when you have your menu open, incentivizes you to play fast and aggressive with him, which is always fun. So yeah, I really like playing as Hero, a lot. His other moves aren't very fast and some are a bit awkward, like up air. What is this? But overall, very fun character to use. Moving on to his stage, Yggdrasil's altar. I got nothing. I played Dragon Quest XI for a little bit, realized it wasn't my thing and didn't beat it. I'm sure that if you like the game, seeing the role of the game in Smash like this is cool. Like the landmarks have a lot of significance for you and all. The big JRPG tree in the center, the big floating whale thing, Rainbow Road. It all looks nice enough at least. And while I'm not a fan of the standard form because of these side platforms that show up, the hazardless form only gets rid of those, and in that state I really like this stage. It's essentially a tournament legal layout that just changes out its platforms every now and then, which is great. Moving on to music, wow, this blows. I'm not a fan of Dragon Quest music, like, at all, and the fact that they didn't include the orchestral versions but instead the MIDIs even though they used the orchestral versions in his reveal trailer is, get this, stupid. Even then, I'm sure there are plenty of Dragon Quest songs I've never heard that I'd love, but the selection in Smash is just, I don't like any of these. Battle for the Glory, Dragon Quest IV, is kinda okay, I guess, but other than that, I don't want to listen to any of these. On top of that, yeah, no remixes at all, which means I immediately hate this song selection even if there were some great ones in here. Like they literally just took existing tracks, put them in Smash, not even the best versions, and call it a day. Thanks, Square Enix. The only real last thing I can talk about here is Hero's alternate costumes. Like I said, I have no connection to these characters because I don't play Dragon Quest games, but the inclusions of some other main characters are pretty cool. My favorite one though is the original. I know, I'm boring, but it's the closest he has to a pink alt since he wears purple, and it's a guy with longer hair than 99% of guys in Nintendo games, which I'm always a big fan of because, well, look at me. So to wrap this up, what do I think of the second Fighters pack in Smash Ultimate, Hero from Dragon Quest? This is gonna hurt me a lot. The actual character itself is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, but that said, he's getting a 5 out of 10, right down the middle. In every pack, the character is of course the most important thing, and Hero is mad fun, but I don't have any connection to the stage at all. And even though it's kind of fun to play on, I don't want to play on it because the song selection is awful. Moving on to the next DLC pack that was also announced on the same day as Hero. Oh my god! So from that you can surmise that unlike Joke and Hero, I actually had a connection to Banjo and Kazooie prior to them joining Smash, which won't actually affect the score of this DLC pack all too much, but still. Anyways, this character, right here, gets flagged sometimes, especially from the competitive community, for being a pretty basic generic character without anything to really make them stick out. I mean, he's only one of 2 DLC fighters to not have a second page on the moves list. That's gotta tell you at least a little bit he's not super complex. And on top of that, they're quote-unquote annoying. But I don't care, I like them. I'm a sucker for characters with multiple mid-air jumps, and 1, 2, yeah, there we go, big fan. I actually like their moveset. At face value, down special just lobs an explosive egg behind you, but if you're creative, you can do so much more with it. You can reverse it to essentially lob it in front of you, or go back and grab it to use it as an item, or even abuse it in the air if you're good enough to give Banjo and Kazooie a busted recovery. Like, my goodness. Side special is cool too, because just like with hero spells, you need to keep track of your resources when using it, since you only get 5 uses of it per stock, and I'm surprised something like this was never done before Banjo in Smash. And lastly, it's awesome that you can just hold neutral special to go into this Breagle Blaster mode. It's not super useful in most scenarios, but it's still super cool that you can do this. And while I like their moveset, they really shine when it comes to their animations. Banjo and Kazooie are just so ridiculously animated and I love it. The way Banjo strikes this sassy pose after his jab combo, Kazooie taking over for the running animation, the way Kazooie shakes her head at Banjo when you try to use rear egg too quickly back to back, and how they trip and fall if you try to use Wonder Wing without any golden feathers left. I just love the character design of them so much. They're just filled to the brim with personality, just like their stage. Spiral Mountain is neat. Actually playing on it is, whatever. This mechanic of the stage spinning around is kind of weird and not necessarily super fun, although I don't hate it. It does, however, sometimes get walk-offs because of the bridge to Guntilda's lair, which blows, but trust me, we'll get into that later. The hazardless form is alright. It's a pretty standard layout with 2 big platforms, which I would have loved if it wasn't for old camper over here. Oh, what could have been. But what makes this stage really special is the background. It's literally just an HD remake of the first area of Banjo-Kazooie. That's so cool. And it looks really good. The background cameos are super fun because they're in different spots each time. 2D moves around and you can even see her doing some platforming, that's adorable, and it's always a joy to see Guntilda flying around. There's a small series on YouTube by Blue Paint C that made these Guntilda rhyme roasts of the characters in Smash, kinda like Palutena's Guidance, and if this stage included something like that, I would have loved it so much more, but sadly that didn't happen. Big missed opportunity. Check the series out by the way, it's super fun. I'll link it at the end of this video. Anyways, lastly, the music. This is a big improvement over the last 2. I mean, there was no way to go up from Hero song selection, but you know what I mean. 10 songs are included, which is a fine amount, especially considering that 7 of them are new remixes. And coolest of all, the Spiral Mountain remix is done by Grant Kirkhope himself, the original composer for Banjo-Kazooie, and the first Western composer to ever make music for a Smash game. That's amazing. The remixes themselves are great too. I really like Gobi's Valley, Treasure Trove Cove, and Mad Monster Mansion especially. And the fact that they included the Lord Wu Fok Fok song is funny simply because of the origin of that name. If you know, you know. So all in all, what do I think of the Banjo-Kazooie DLC pack? Well, obviously I like it. The only thing I can really complain about is that again, I don't like playing on the stage, but that's not a huge deal since I'm one of those losers that only likes playing on competitively legal stages anyways, which is like maybe 10. But the battlefield and Omega forms are really nice. The actual character and the whole music selection are really, really great. So I'm gonna give this pack a strong 9 out of 10. This is gonna be a hard pack to beat. So let's see what the next character can do, this funny fella. With Nintendo adding Mr. Terry from the world famous SNK franchise, they went back to the tradition of adding DLC characters that I wasn't very familiar with before they joined Smash. Which again, doesn't really matter. I personally don't really care if a character comes from a franchise I'm familiar with or not. Anyways, Terry Bogard. What do I think of him as a character? Drumroll please. I like him a lot. Which is funny because with Ryu and Ken, while I don't have issues with command inputs, I am so bad at playing them that I don't enjoy it. Though I wish I did. But with Terry, I'm somewhat competent with him and I like his moveset. That may be because I think he is the simplest fighting game character in Smash, but even so I feel like out of all four, his moveset flows the best, at least to me. And oh boy, that moveset. Spoilers for Kazuya, but Terry is the only fighting game character I actually enjoy playing. So whenever I do play as him, it's like I'm experiencing a whole new game, and for that reason, I like him a lot. It's super satisfying to cancel his normals into specials like Burning Knuckle or Power Dunk, and even more so with his super specials, which I think is a really fun mechanic. When playing as Terry, you feel a sense of, alright, time to wreak some havoc when you get to over 100%. And when you're playing against Terry, it's fun to try and KO him before reaching that point. To me, that's when a character is exceptionally well designed, when they're both fun to play as and against. So on the gameplay front, solid all around. Nice job, Terry. But sadly, on the stage front, it's got to walk off. Oh, no it doesn't. Huh. Wait a minute. This is my favorite stage in the game. I know I said earlier that I typically like to play on competitively legal stages, but this one, I make an exception for sometimes because it's just too damn fun. You know how I call Terry fun because he makes me feel like I'm playing a different game? Well, the same is essentially true for King of Fighters Stadium. When you pick the stage, you start thinking of characters and their abilities to KO horizontally. My main Jigglypuff isn't very good on this stage because rest sends vertically, and kinda sucks here. But other characters I like to play, such as Shulk, can really excel on this stage, if you get your opponents close to the wall and hit them hard. It's also just so much fun to do some cheese and kill really early after making your opponent pretty much touch the wall. This is the only non-legal stage in the game that me and my buddies sometimes play on anyways because it's just so much fun. And even besides that, it's insane how many background characters this stage has, and they all look great. And even when playing on the battlefield or Omega form, it's a pretty stage. The giant screen in the background showing the match is always cool, and the sparks and smoke that shoot up after every KO is a fun and flashy touch that keeps the match hype. So Terry is 2 for 2 right now. Let's move on to the final part of this pack, the music. Okay, Terry, calm down. Jesus Christ, man! They really made this pack come with 50 songs, and 17 of them are brand new remixes? 2 of those are English and Japanese versions of the same song, but still, that's 16 completely newly composed tracks for this single $5.99 DLC pack. And best of all, most of them slap! Kurikinton, Pasta, Tarkan and Kirby, Let's Go to Seoul, Theme of SYD, Banquet of Nature, and especially Stormy Saxophone 2 are all fantastic. One thing that's also awesome is that the remix Psycho Soldier theme, which is that song I mentioned earlier, comes with both Japanese and English lyrics, was originally the first ever video game song with lyrics all the way back in 1986, in the game Psycho Soldier. And its English remix is the first time since the original's Western release in 1987 that it got officially translated into English. That's some cool history right there, and it's a pretty nice song. Besides the amazing remixes, there are of course also some banger non-remixes, like Kurikinton Flavor and Tame a Bad Boy, just to name 2. And yeah, 50 songs is really insane. Smash may say the music selection is from the Fatal Fury series, but really it's just SNK as a whole, since only 17 of the 50 come from Fatal Fury, and the rest all from other SNK properties. You would really have to be a fool to complain about this song list, man. So, what score do I give the Terry Bogard DLC pack? Well, honestly, what do you think? I said the character is fun and exceptionally well designed, his stage is literally my favorite stage in the game, and the music selection would get super late if it had legs. So, of course, that's an easy 10 out of 10 from me. Imagine if I was a big Fatal Fury or SNK fan, then this would be almost an 11 out of 10. So, what did Nintendo do to follow up that incredible DLC pack? Oh. So yeah, Byleth from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room first. Yes, Byleth is the 8th Fire Emblem character in Smash, but personally I've never really minded. Sure, Marth, Lucina, Roy, and Chrom are all variations of the same moveset, but while Roy was just a Marth clone in Melee, he was decloned and given a small overhaul when he came back as DLC in Smash 4, and they play very differently nowadays. Lucina and Chrom are Echo Fighters, and I think that aside from Ken, they're the best examples of them in the game. They fully share the same moveset as their non-Echo counterparts, except for Roy and Chrom having different up specials, but they shake them up more than enough to warrant them being here in my opinion. They're good additions. Ike is just a completely new character introduced in Brawl when they trimmed the fat from Melee and removed most clones, including Roy. And if you ask me, I'd rather have them make a new character and remove a clone, rather than just keeping the clone and not making a new character. He's also the first big heavy sword user in Smash, an archetype which I think is still a little underrepresented. Robin is a fantastic addition in my book. See what I did there? He's a great conversion of the typical Fire Emblem gameplay of managing resources if you ask me, and I also think he's just really fun to play, on top of being super unique too. And then there's Corrin. I don't think too many people are going to disagree with me when I say that I don't care for Corrin. He sucks. But he is pretty unique. He's not fun, or interesting, or deserving of being in Smash since he was literally just put in to promote a bad game, but he is unique, and that counts. And then finally we get to Byleth. Almost forgot he's the main thing I'm supposed to be talking about here. Yeah, he's also just put in to promote a new game, but this game is actually pretty good. Byleth's reveal trailer took the world by storm because almost everyone was upset. It was pretty weird for me though. At the time of the announcement, I had literally just beaten Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which I really enjoyed. So I was strangely happy when it was announced. Call it the honeymoon phase. Then he came out and yeah, that sure is a character with a very shoehorned in mechanic, if you can even call it that. All of Byleth's up moves are done with his sword, side moves are done with his spear, down moves with his axe, and neutral moves with his bow. Except for all his tilts and his neutral tilt, aka jab, which are all done with his sword. To me, this mechanic feels like they were scared that people would be upset about another Fire Emblem character, so they came up with this half-assed gimmick to make him seem more unique than the others, and then just passed it off as being based on Fire Emblem's gameplay mechanic of switching weapons or something. I mean, his neutral air looks so awkward and stupid. Like, who spins a bow around to attack? That's different, those are blades. They only did this because otherwise he'd only have one bow move. It hurts even more when we don't have any axe or lance wielders in Smash. That doesn't count either. But the main question is, do I enjoy Byleth's moveset? No, I don't. He's just super slow and not very satisfying to play as either. It also feels clunky to me, probably because of his weird directional weapon attack gimmick. So that's what I think of the character. Not so great first impressions of the DLC pack so far. But it obviously includes more than just that, like his stage, Garreg Mach Monastery. This is a traveling stage that repeats the same cycle of 4 unique areas. A long stretch of land with 2 walk-offs and destructible objects to make the walk-offs more easily accessible. A long stretch of land with 2 walk-offs and extremely high up platforms where you can easily camp some characters completely out. A long stretch of land with 2 walk-offs and nothing else. And a long stretch of land with 2 walk-offs and regular platforms. Wow, okay, this stage blows ass. I mentioned before that I hate walk-offs. They're truly just badly designed in my opinion. They allow anyone to just camp at them and fish for throws to KO at basically 0%. This is what battles with walk-offs always devolve into, and it's literally never fun for anyone. On top of that, I think this stage is just uncharacteristically ugly for Smash Ultimate. Some things look okay, like the light in the cathedral segment and the floor in the hallway section look nice enough. But then you have stuff like the bridge part that's just overlooking the side of a building with some bland trees. And all the character cameos in the background just don't look good to me. Very weird coming right after the Terry DLC. Like, why are all their textures so low quality? And look at Claude's face here. It looks like he's full of microplastics. They strangely don't show up at all in the background of the Battlefield and Omega forms, unlike the other stages with background cameos. Almost like they knew these models weren't good looking. So yeah, that's pretty bad. But let's see if the music selection will be this pack's saving grace. Byleth was the first DLC character to just add more music to an existing series rather than introduce a new one. So we're just going to be looking at the 11 new Fire Emblem songs this pack adds. And rating this is really weird for me. One of the new remixes is literally my favorite new remix in all of Smash Brothers. Seriously, I love this song so much. But on the other hand, I really don't think the selection overall is too good. I already said that the remixes matter way more to me than the music ports, and this pack only comes with one remix. It has 2 versions. Once again, it's the same remix but with just Japanese and English lyrics, and they're really good. Even though personally I don't like Japanese lyrics and music, I think it's cool that they're both here. Also, of the 9 non-remixed tracks, 2 of them are the same song as the one remix, just again with Japanese and English versions. So that means that 36% of the new songs Byleth brought to Smash are variations of the same song. That's kinda dumb. But Fire Emblem 3 Houses music is incredible. Have you ever heard this soundtrack? It's honestly one of my favorites in all of gaming, and I'm not kidding. The 7 other music ports Byleth brought are all bangers. Chasing Daybreak is just okay, but Fotland Winds, Blue Skies in a Battle, Tearing Through Heaven, Between Heaven and Earth, and Paths That Will Never Cross are all stellar. Personally, I wanted them to add a few more songs or make just 1 or 2 more remixes. Like if they remade God Shattering Star, which is the best final boss song I've ever heard in my life, I would have positively lost it. Huge shame that that song isn't included in the game at all though. Like really? Come on. But yeah, the music in this pack is weird. The one remix is incredible, but the selection overall is pretty lacking. But with that all out of the way, what do I think of this pack overall? You already know this is very weak and it sucks. I'm giving this a 2 out of 10.
Both those points come from the one remix being amazing and them at least doing something unique with the character.
But seriously, this pack kinda sucks. And it doesn't even have anything to do with this being the 8th Fire Emblem character. So there you have it. My opinion on the first half of Smash Ultimate's DLC. I would have liked to cover all of the DLC in this video, but I failed to realize that I'm way too good at rambling. So I decided to leave the rest of the DLC for another time. So far, we've had Piranha Plant as a small bonus that I wouldn't really feel right giving a rating, but I liked regardless. Joker with an okay pack. Hero with a ho-hum pack, only saved by the character and having a somewhat fun stage. Banjo and Kazooie with a fantastic pack. Terry with a perfect pack. And Byleth with a really bad pack. I'm gonna keep this ending segment short in case you're watching these 2 videos back to back when they're both already out. So let's hope the next 6 DLC packs can perform better than the first 5. Thank you so much for watching. I've been gone for a while, so leaving a like and a comment would really help me out since the algorithm likes people doing that. And I hope to see you in part 2, which should be out after my next video within a month this time. See ya!